What is up, everybody? Welcome back to the DT show. No intro today. We're going to be going right into it. We have some breaking news from President Trump. Came in earlier today and stated that on Fox and Friends, I believe it's what it's called, stating that there is a person in custody referencing the Charlie Kirk assassination. We're going to be, I have the press conference live in the background. I'm listening for it to start. It's slated to start probably in the next 13 minutes or so. And so in the meantime, what we're going to do is we're going to kind of go through some things, see what's going on out there in the news. There's a lot of rumors that are going on about who this person may be. It could be somebody named Sky, I think has been reported. That's been something to that nature of somewhere. That's what I'm looking for. Connected to some sort of trans singer in Utah who may have debated Charlie Kirk in the past. And so I don't know how true any of those things are yet. So I don't want to put any images or any of those things yet until it has been confirmed. But there is a press conference, and President Trump had spoken about this earlier. So let's watch this. You're going to hear in the background what sounds like people talking while this is going on. That's because I'm listening into the press conference at the same time. All right, Jennifer, we posted the exchange between Charlie and Sky on Discord. All right, sounds good. Jennifer, can you? All right, I'll go in there and I'll see if I can pull it up here in a second. Let's listen to President Trump this morning talk about the breaking news.
In Arizona. And you said you were going to award him the Presidential Medal of Freedom, which is very nice of you. Any updates on this suspect?
Yeah. Can I always say, I think, just to protect us all, and so Fox doesn't get sued and we all don't get sued and everything else. But I think with a high degree of certainty, we have him in custody. Okay? In custody. Everyone did a great job. We worked with the local police, the governor. Everybody did a great job. You know, getting somebody that you start off with absolutely nothing. And we started off with a clip that made him look like an ant that was almost useless. We just saw there was somebody up there. And so much work has been done over the last 2.5 days. You know, it's amazing, actually, when you start off with that and then all of a sudden you get lucky or talent or whatever it is. But yeah, I think we're in great shape.
So this was the breaking information this morning that they got him. They have him in custody. There is a news conference that's fixing to start in the next 20 minutes. And yeah, if this ends up being Sky, we talked about this person, you know, night one when this happened. We looked up the Twitter because apparently Sky is connected to Omar. Omar is the handle on X that was indicating some sort of, I hope that somebody takes out Charlie Kirk, and then a little bit later comes out with some sort of next tweet like, oh, I know something big is going to happen with a dog smiling or something of that nature. You know, I was a little bit skeptical about it just because I felt that if all of us knew about it at this point, I would have figured that FBI and law enforcement would have gotten some sort of idea about it. And, you know, I'm going to pull this down so you guys aren't hearing the talking also over me. But if I knew that, and we all knew that FBI should, and it shouldn't be too hard to connect those dots, but they kept coming out with pictures and stuff. And to me, I felt like if they had a name, if they knew who the person was, they probably wouldn't have come out with those pictures. So that's kind of where I'm at on that one. You know, I don't know. It very well could be. It makes sense, apparently. And this is from Charlie's show. Apparently, this is the guy that some people are saying is the same guy. And he kind of looks like the person. You know, you put glasses and a hat on, that kind of looks like it. And this is a guy that put out a video saying something to the effect that, or music song or whatever, that Charlie Kirk dead at 31 or something of that nature. About a minute 36. Kind of looks like him.
Hey, this guy just lies. Hey, no. He's a liar. So, okay. He can't debate. He just lies.
Okay, let's just calm down a little
freedom
bit.
Of speech?
Well, I mean, you could say whatever you want if you want to make a fool of yourself, but we do have like 10-year-olds here and 11-year-olds, so can we have some decency?
Whatever.
Okay, you don't care. You're a typical leftist because you only care about yourself,
Who said I was
not
a
about
leftist?
the other people.
Who said I was a leftist?
Well, it's very clear by how you're acting.
Do you
to
even
say,
graduate college? You know,
no.
you know
In
this guy
fact,
didn't
I actually
graduate
I didn't go to college. I've been able to be pretty
You
successful
did
without
not
a 4-year
graduate
degree.
college.
Yeah, I did not go to
You're
college.
gonna come to college and act like you know.
So
better
are we
than
gonna
everybody.
debate resumes or ideas?
Ideas.
Most college degrees are meaningless, and most of you guys are being totally scammed by being here.
No.
Now, let me further complete the point.
So getting
let
educated
me-
is a scam.
First of all, it's not always an education, and you are perfect evidence that you haven't really been educated. You are hyper hostile. You have no humility. You have very little wisdom about how the world works, and you come and you want so badly to be recognized and noticed. You came with your own bullhorn to cut in line someone who patiently waited to ask the first question. What have you actually learned at this institution except that you're the center of the world and everyone must listen to you?
You go to countries, or you go to campuses and agitate people for like this exact scenario.
I sit here and ask questions. You're the agitator,
you
not
say,
me.
prove me wrong.
Yeah, correct. The students want another question, and I do agree with them because you embody the worst of this generation.
Are you looking in the mirror?
I do look at.
All right, so this ain't him. I don't think so. Tyler Robinson, age 22, is the suspect's name. Interesting. I don't know how true that is either. Let's see if we can find something out on that. But this guy kind of looks like that dude kind of would fit the bill there as far as height, weight, hair color, facial. The lower mouth area kind of looks the same. You know what I'm saying? And so let me see what's going on my Discord real quick. Tyler Robinson, 22. That is coming from, I believe, the Daily Mail. Let me see if I can find something on that real quick. Yep, updates the suspect Tyler Robinson. Tyler Robinson. All right, let's go to X and see if we can find anything on Tyler Robinson. So that's going to be the person's name. Here he is. It's save image. So it's not the same guy. It is not the same guy that was just debating. Kind of looked like him, but not the same guy. That's kind of one of the reasons why I was a little bit hesitant to show that person, because we don't know. But this is the guy. Tyler Robinson, age 22. Obviously, there are the glasses. One of the things that I thought was pretty obvious was the guy wasn't wearing like some sort of face covering. And so for him to look down and scope, he would have had to have pressed his face up against the rifle. And, in doing so, he would have left DNA behind. Obviously he could have gotten up and cleaned it, but he was leaving there at a quick rate. People were chasing him. Let me rephrase that. They weren't chasing him yet, but they were obviously on the lookout for somebody who had just took a shot, law enforcement, although they were attending to Kirk, and that was their main avenue, was Kirk, get him to, we saw a video of his security and law enforcement officers assisting him getting into Charlie Kirk's SUV to take him to the hospital there. And so this guy's going to get, everybody's going to look into who this guy is. This loser. Loser. They do seem very close in appearance. Yeah. Wonder where this kid got. It's not necessarily you need to be a sharpshooter to make that shot. It was probably 150 yards with a rifle with a 30-06. Any hunter can make that. any inexperienced hunter. I mean, if you have some experience with guns and basic understanding of how they're used, it's not a hard shot to make. And it looks like, based on what we were talking about last night, that that he was wearing some sort of titanium vest, and it appears he was aiming for center mass, and it hit the top of it and bounced up. Right. Um, it didn't seem like he was aiming for the neck, in my opinion. And at that range, a shot like that, I'll put it this way: when it came to the Trump assassination, if that guy had a rifle like the one he was carrying, we may not have Trump. The difference was he was carrying an AR-15 style rifle, and it's a lot different. It's an automatic weapon or semi-automatic weapon, and it's two different weapons. And so the experts have kind of talked about this as well. The firearm experts saying that, this is a very accurate gun. It's primarily used like in hunting and things of that nature. So very accurate. And I don't think he has to be a sharpshooter. Not for that type of shot. Not at that distance. It wasn't very far. Let's see what else we can find on this guy. We got some video and images of him.
Congratulations. You've been selected to receive the resident scholarship from Utah State University. The value of this scholarship is approximately $32,000. This scholarship is available for 4 years.
Okay.
Congratulations. You have been selected to receive the resident presidential scholarship from Utah State University. The value of this scholarship is approximately $32,000. This scholarship is available for 4 years or 8 semesters.
Okay.
Congratulations. You have been selected to receive the resident presidential scholarship from Utah State University. The value of this scholarship is approximately $32,000. This scholarship
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's the guy. This is the dude.
Yeah, and that is a noble cause, isn't it? But I do wonder, the United States right now, it's really politically divided country, and moments like this, such a high profile.
We'll get some of these images of this guy. Saved before they're all taken down. That way we can zoom in and authorities tell NYP that 22-year-old Utah resident was held by his father until police arrived. What? Says, happy birthday to my Tyler. Man, 19 years ago, this boy made me a mama. Watching him become the awesome human he is has been so amazing. Yeah. He didn't do something so awesome, man. Let's see what this has to say.
Breaking news just in, Charlie Kirk's assassin has just been unmasked as 22-year-old Tyler Robinson. Breaking news just in, Charlie Kirk's assassin.
And we're going to save all this because we'll probably go live a little bit later tonight, talk about this. I'm assuming that's his mom. This is his probably his room there on campus. We'll scroll in and zoom in here in a little bit, see what we can. I guess it's saying here, everybody's saying that his father turned him in. Apparently, this is the father. I'm getting a lot of reports saying that Tyler Robinson with his father Matt in the earlier days, who turned him in. Oh, look at that. He's wearing the same shoes. Check that out. Yeah, so this guy didn't probably... this tells me that the guy didn't really go into a lot of planning for this. I mean, I think he did some. Obviously, the shirt. You know, I'm thinking, and I'm assuming, this is my assumption, is either he took the shirt, he purchased it as a distraction, knowing that he'd be on camera. But I mean, he didn't account for everything. I mean, he's wearing the same shoes in both images. Interesting. And the governor did say this was a political assassination. So let's just keep it as 100 and real as it is.
Check 1 2, check mic check 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 1 2 3 4 5 6. We're hoping to get at least a 3-minute warning when they start walking, but we haven't got that yet. So 1 2 3 4 5 6 7. Everybody good? 1 2 3 4 5 6.
It took even his backpack. Look at that. Check that out. The backpack in there is very similar to the one that he's wearing. So yeah, I mean, he didn't put a lot of thought into this. I don't think that this was something that he planned months in advance or anything like that. I think this is probably something he planned in recent days. If the gun is, I wonder about the gun, right? Where he got the gun from. You know, had they found the owner of the gun, maybe that's why they were able to trade. I would have figured they would have done that a lot easier and sooner, right? Wouldn't have taken this long. They wouldn't have put out pictures like this if they didn't know his name. So, you know, maybe the gun belongs to dad. Maybe that's how they got in touch with dad and whatnot. But I wonder where and how he got that gun with, you know, the serial number aspect of it. You know, did he scrape it down? Did he do something with it to make it improbable? Did he just purchase it? That's another big clue too. Maybe he purchased it. But again, if he had just purchased it, right, and he had just no, we haven't. The presser has not started.
No official word on the start time. We will try to give at least a 5-minute warning on that, but we'll do our best on that.
So that's what you guys are hearing in the background. I'm sure you guys can still hear that. I have the press conference playing that way in case they start. We can hear it, and so the talking and stuff that you hear over my voice is what that is. I'm going to turn it down a little bit so it's not too distracting. So I mean, I'll still be able to hear it once it gets going. But yeah, this tells me that this guy didn't plan for a very long time about this. If he's using, you know, his clothing, his shoes, his backpack. Look at his legs. Look at the way he stands. If you remember the way he was walking down the steps, his left foot kind of seemed weird. Let me see if I can pull that up. I have it right here. All right, so you see how his leg kind of bends out this way. His foot kind of faces weird. And his left leg kind of goes way out there. Interesting stuff. I guess this is his mother, Amber Rose. This guy's birthday is April 16th, apparently. Yeah, it's just his shoes on the left look dirty white. I don't know. I think they look the same. I think they might be a little bit faded from use, but they look pretty much the same. No, that was on this. Oh, let's look at this one. Let me open that one real quick. All right, so this is the mom. This is apparently I'm assuming Tyler's brother, but they taught him how to shoot. So if you guys are wondering who taught him how to shoot, it looks like their parents did, based off of that. And look, he's always wearing those same shoes. That looks like a fairly older picture. And so one of the things that I was just trying to say was that it seems like they were a little bit more faded by the time that the images come in. I mean, where he's walking up. Not a troublemaker. Oh, this guy made more than trouble, guys. I don't understand why you're trying to defend him. Let's see. Let's watch this again.
Congratulations. You have been selected to receive the Resident Presidential Scholarship from Utah State University. The value of this scholarship is approximately $32,000. This scholarship is available for 4 years.
I don't know what that's about. All right, let me pull up some of those images so we can kind of. Oh, I'm not saying you're a troublemaker. I'm just saying that this guy he caused some trouble. A lot more than just trouble. All right, I'm just gonna go through these, the ones that we saved, so that way we can and I got the press conference behind it. So once it starts, it'll start going. So this is the guy. Again, this picture looks like it's an older picture. He's got the shoes on, the same ones. You know what? Let me pull up that image that we have of the suspect where it shows his shoes. So these do look like a light gray. Those look darker gray. But I think this is because this is an older picture. These are when they were newer. And these look a little bit more faded out. But I do believe they're the same. Oh, I'm not even showing it. There you go. All right. So you have the this is from the image in the hallway. You have the gray shoes. And then these shoes. No, I don't want to do that. There you go. You have the gray shoes, and these here look just darker, but I think it's because they're newer, not anything else. Good morning, Daniel. Got my DT shirt on today. Thanks for keeping it. Oh, thank you, DZ. I hope you're doing well, and thank you for your support. Let's see. And let's not attack anybody for anything what they said, about being a troublemaker. I was just saying that he is more than a troublemaker. Wouldn't be surprised if those are the same jeans, just a little bit more faded now because they're older. But kind of just tells you that he like, to me, if that ends up being the case, he didn't plan on, this wasn't something planned for a very long time. Looks like the same sunglasses. As I said, his left leg kicks out. Kid was apparently, I guess, smart enough to pass his classes with pretty high grades. Check that out. Like, it doesn't seem like he comes from a family that was like hurting financially or anything. You know what I'm saying? I have no idea where this is at, but that looks crazy in the background. These look black in comparisons to these. These look black. This is where he may have gotten his shirt from. Dad. I wonder if his dad saw the actual if he saw the shirt and recognized his son. Watch the video running behind the building. If you look to the right, running into the main street, I saw another person running alongside him. Check it out if I'm wrong. I'll check that out. Thank you. I'll see if I can find that before we call it a show. Hopefully they do a press conference soon. I'm kind of limited on time. This was supposed to start at 8:30. It's about 15 minutes afterwards now. Another box of Converse, Wolverine boots, possible backpack. These look like a brand new pair of Converse. I wouldn't be surprised if his old pair, the ones that he used, were in this box. Looking around at what's in his house or in his dorm. I'm assuming this is his dorm. Let me check something real quick. All right. So apparently what it looks like is that his parents went out there. They took a picture of him before they set up the room. They took a picture after they set up the room. Here's him in that same shirt. This is mom hugging him. This is probably goodbyes after they set up his room and fixed it up for him. Kind of what it appears like to me. This is probably a few years back, given the mask situation on his face. So here is him with some sunglasses. I don't think that's the same guy over there in the corner. You know, I don't know if this, I think this might be something completely separate. These look like a bunch of people that aren't the real person. So he was 19 in 2022. It's 3 years ago. So that would put him, what, 22? Oh, that's him with some sunglasses. Could there be more than one? I mean, possibly. There was the situation with the old man who was trying to take credit for the shooting, right? That's what ended up getting him arrested, was he said he's the one that did it. You know, at the scene, was he, you know, was that him taking advantage of the moment, trying to put his name out there, try to get some more publicity, knowing he didn't commit the crime and there would be no evidence of him with the gun or anything like that, and he'd be released? Or was he trying to buy time for this young man? Was he trying to get him an opportunity to get away by causing a misdirection, by stating he was the person so that he could vanish through the neighborhood? I don't know. I have no idea. I don't know when their mask restrictions stopped and things of that nature out there in Utah. But I would assume he'd been there, you know, for a while. If he's 22 now, he's probably on his way of graduating. You know, if he got there around 19, he should be in his senior year, I believe. And so this sounds and looks like right when he got there. But look at those shoes. Look at those shoes. Now, those are gray. Those are gray. Again, these are the black shoes. Different shoes. This is when he, I believe this is probably his first day there. You know, they just set up, got everything ready, his dorm going. It's nice and clean. What's in the trash? It just looks like, I think those are like those cookie things, those grandma's cookies. The blue and clear plastic. Could be something else, but it looks like snack plastic to me. So I don't know. It's got a soda. What is that? See, I'm looking for a case that could contain a gun. I don't think that's it. Looks like just a suitcase. So that could tell us a couple things, like where did he get it from? When did he get it? How far does he live from the university? Could it have been his father's gun? Could he have gone home the weekend leading up to this event and picked it up and took it back with him? Those are the questions that we need to, that I hope that we get some understanding about today. Yeah, please stop arguing. I don't deal with arguments here. You know, you can ask those in the Discord. Arguing is not my forte, and I got little low tolerance for it. And if somebody continues to argue or debate things that aren't necessarily needed, well, we'll just take care of you, and you won't be here no more. And so let's keep it high level, guys. You can have your opinion. You can have your disbeliefs. You can say your opinion.
Testing. Hi, everyone. We
All right.
are 4 minutes out from starting the press conference. Thank you.
4 minutes out, guys. So they'll be starting in 4 minutes. Now we know. 4 minutes. 4 minutes. Yeah, no, those are the same shoes. And like I said, this kind of tells me that this dude didn't go out there, like in the Brian Koberger case, the guy goes out there, buys a whole brand new stuff so that way he doesn't leave DNA or anything behind. This guy didn't plan for those things. He didn't think about those things. He was out there barefaced, probably put his, face on the rifle, left DNA there. Let's pull up the images here of, he's not wearing gloves. He's not thinking about DNA or anything like that. Oh man, the audio sounds weird. Let me go check out what's going on. That's back. So we'll be waiting for the next few minutes. I'll answer some of y'all's questions if you guys have any. Put them out there, please. I appreciate it. I hope they start this pretty soon, and it's not the longest press conference, but usually kind of like what they do. Like I said last night, what they'll do is they'll introduce everybody that's up there, who's going to be talking, and then they'll go into what they know and what they say, and sometimes they'll do a little bit of a Q&A. Not sure if they're going to go through that entire process this morning, but I think so. In the dorm pic, under his bed to the left, is at foam egg crate material, like they look using gun cases. Let me check that out. Under here, I don't know. I don't think so. I just think that's like maybe a place for him to put his shoes at. I think that's what that's for. Yeah, I do think I think it's very plausible that he thought he was going to get caught. I'm trying to see if there's any more news on there on Tyler Robinson on how he got arrested. Let me see. Mm-hmm. Says the suspect arrested in the killing conservative activist Charlie Kirk has been identified as 22-year-old Utah resident Tyler Robinson. 5 senior law enforcement officials briefed on the matter told NBC. President Donald Trump said on Fox News this morning, "I think with a high degree of certainty we have him." NBC News sources have confirmed the arrest and said a family member of the suspect turned him to the police. The FBI has offered a reward up to $100,000 for information leading to the identification and arrest. Authorities said that they recovered a high-powered bolt-action rifle used in the shooting from a wooded area. Vice President J.D. Vance and Second Lady Usha Vance arrived in Arizona last night with Kirk's casket on board Air Force Two. So all indications are that a family member did turn him in. Information that I've seen on Twitter or X is that the person that turned him in was his father. You know, his you can't choose your family, right? And so I know a lot of people look at family members of violent criminals as something to do with it, or maybe perhaps having their hand in something that created the monster, right? Like, did they do something to this person, you know, assault this kid when he was younger that turned him into a bad egg, or whatever the case you might say. I don't know. I mean, it sounds like this guy turned him in. It appears based on the pictures that we saw that they provided a pretty good life for their family, at least financially. I couldn't tell you, you know, behind closed doors, obviously, or anything like that. But and he turned him in. He did the right thing and turned in his son. Sounds like they did the right thing. That was extremely hard. Oh yeah, it was. It definitely was. I hope, you know, nobody ever wants to go through anything like that. I still think there were others. Saw a video of a guy on the roof, and it didn't look like. I mean, the videos. I don't know how you can tell from the videos from the person on the roof. We saw the videos of the guy on the roof, and it's a blur. It's a pixelated picture. I don't know if you'd be able to tell or not. To be honest with you. Well, they gave us a 4-minute warning, but still haven't started. So let's go back and see what else is popping off here on X. Okay. All right. Oh, that's stupid. This was the person that said that the pictures before he went off to college where the radical left professors indoctrinated him into a radical leftist. Well, that's their opinion, but I don't know. I'm not on college to know what it is that they put in, but I do know there's been several professors and teachers, even at like here in Texas, there was a teacher out, I think in like Houston, like a high school teacher, who was like praising the death of Charlie Kirk. And I was like, man, you guys are wild. Like, how they allow you guys to teach, you know, impressionable students? If that's what you're, you know, regardless of anything, if that's how you feel, that, you know, you're celebrating the death of another American in an unjust way, you know, like there's a difference between obviously like an execution of somebody that's committed a crime. Like, you know, they said that the death penalty is a thing there in Utah, and this guy may end up facing it. You know, he's facing that because of his actions and the things that he has done. Charlie Kirk didn't do anything to deserve anything near what he got. And so, you know, it's a little bit of a difference. And so when you have this innocent man who hasn't done anything but speak his beliefs, regardless if you believe him or not, or if you all agree or disagree. Like I have friends that we don't agree on a lot of things. Whether it's cases we've covered, politics, ideologies, and things of that nature. And I never let that get between me and who they are as a person, because that's what they are as well as people. I mean, everybody here is a person, and you have your own beliefs, and you have your right to your own beliefs. You know, if somebody disagrees with me, who am I to say, oh, you're wrong, or you're an evil person just because you believe something different than I do? That's not the case. You know, but I do know that there are some people who don't agree with that. It's somewhat insane that if you don't agree with them, that you're some sort of fascist, which is fascism on its own, right? It's bigotry. A lot of these folks will look at one side and say, oh, they're a bunch of bigots, not understanding what the meaning of a bigot is, like that. And what that is like, even when presented in the face of evidence, you still want to, debate or not take into the evidence that's in front of you, and not even to listen to it. And I had a friend who decided not to be our friend anymore because of the results of the election, who was telling people literally that, like, I don't care what you have to say, I don't care, anything you say, you're a bigot. And I'm like, that's being a bigot. But when you don't understand the term and you use it in an improper means, it's that's what you get. And so it's kind of the same
Good morning, ladies and
in
gentlemen.
many situations. But here we go.
At today's press conference, we will hear from Governor Cox, FBI Director Kash Patel, and Sheriff Mike Smith. We also have with us Utah DPS Commissioner Bo Mason, Lieutenant Governor Deidre Henderson, FBI Special Agent in Charge Robert Bowles, and local and federal law enforcement partners. Following the remarks today, Governor Cox, Director Patel, and Commissioner Mason will take questions. Thank you.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. We got him. On the evening of September 11th, a family member of Tyler Robinson reached out to a family friend who contacted the Washington County Sheriff's Office with information that Robinson had confessed to them or implied that he had committed the incident. This information was relayed to the Utah County Sheriff's Office and scene investigators at Utah Valley University. This information was also conveyed to the FBI. Investigators reviewed additional video footage from UVU surveillance and identified Robinson arriving on UVU campus in a gray Dodge Challenger at approximately 8:29 a.m. on September 10th, in which he is observed on video in a plain maroon t-shirt, light-colored shorts, a black hat with a white logo, and light-colored shoes. When encountered in person by investigators in Washington County on September 12th, in the early morning hours, Robinson was observed in consistent clothing with those surveillance images. Investigators interviewed a family member of Robinson who stated that Robinson had become more political in recent years. The family member referenced a recent incident in which Robinson came to dinner prior to September 10th, and in the conversation with another family member, Robinson mentioned Charlie Kirk was coming to UVU. They talked about why they didn't like him and the viewpoints that he had. The family member also stated Kirk was full of hate and spreading hate. The family member also confirmed Robinson had a gray Dodge Challenger. Investigators identified an individual as the roommate of Robinson. Investigators interviewed that roommate, who stated that his roommate, referring to Robinson, made a joke on Discord. Investigators asked if he would show them the messages on Discord. He opened it and showed several messages to investigators and allowed investigators to take photos of the screen as each message was shown by Robinson's roommate. These photos consisted of various messages, including content of messages between the phone contact named Tyler with an emoji icon and Robinson's roommate's device. The content of these messages included messages affiliated with the contact Tyler, stating a need to retrieve a rifle from a drop point, leaving the rifle in a bush, messages related to visually watching the area where a rifle was left, and a message referring to having left the rifle wrapped in a towel. The messages also refer to engraving bullets and a mention of a scope and the rifle being unique. Messages from the contact, Tyler, also mentioned that he had changed outfits. I know there's been speculation as well as to the writing on those casings, those bullet casings, and I believe we have that as well. And I'll share that with you now. So the area north of Campus Drive Road where the suspect crossed over, you saw some of that in the video that we released last night, consists of a grassy area with trees on the edge of the UVU campus. Investigators discovered a bolt-action rifle wrapped in a dark-colored towel. The rifle was determined to be a Mauser Model 98 30-06 caliber bolt-action rifle. The rifle had a scope mounted on top of it. Investigators noted inscriptions that had been engraved on casings found with the rifle. Inscriptions on a fired casing read, "Notices, bulges, capital OWO, what's this, question mark." Inscriptions on the 3 unfired casings read, "Hey fascist, exclamation point, catch, exclamation point." Up arrow symbol, right arrow, and symbol, and 3 down arrow symbols. A second unfired casing read, "Oh Bella Chow, Bella Chow, Bella Chow, Chow Chow." And a third unfired casing read, "If you read this, you are gay, LMAO." We are indebted to law enforcement across the state who's worked seamlessly together, local law enforcement, state law enforcement, and our federal partners with the Federal Bureau of Investigation. We're grateful for everyone who worked together in such a short amount of time to find this person and to bring justice. I want to thank the public who has been so engaged, reviewing videos, helping us with sending in tips, and helping us get to this point. I want to thank the family members of Tyler Robinson who did the right thing in this case and were able to bring him into to law enforcement as well. I especially want to thank the family of Charlie Kirk, Erica, Charlie's parents, his children. I want us to be thinking of them as we bring justice in this case. They will be involved in that justice. We will be working very closely with them as we move through this process as well. This is a very sad day for our country, a terrible day for the state of Utah, but I'm grateful that at this moment we have an opportunity to bring closure to this very dark chapter in our nation's history. With that, I'll now turn the microphone over to the Director of the FBI, Kash Patel.
Thank you, Governor. This is what happens when you let good cops be cops. The FBI and our partners are proud to stand here today together to bring justice to the family of Charlie Kirk and honor his memory. I want to express my deep gratitude to President Trump, the Vice President, and the entire White House who have been so incredibly supportive with both resources and just personally to the FBI as a team. They had our backs the entire way, and I just want to express my gratitude for giving us the resources we need to operate in this space to bring this sort of justice at this sort of speed. In 33 hours, we have made historic progress for Charlie. Governor Cox, our partnership has been absolutely incredible these last few days. Our partnership will endure. Your state and local partners, your sheriffs, your DPS community has been unbelievably impressive in the hardest of times. And a case like this cannot be solved, cannot be brought without partnering with your state and local authorities. The FBI has a certain role to play. We will play that role, and we will lead after the federal government. Governor Cox, we are so grateful for your state partnership that led out on this investigation. A little bit of the timeline. Charlie was shot at 12:23 p.m. on Wednesday. The first FBI agents arrived on scene in 16 minutes with chiefs of police at 12:39 and secured the scene. The FBI immediately launched fixed-wing assets. We utilized these assets to transport personnel, specialty technicians, hostage rescue teams. We also utilized these assets to go back and forth from the East Coast and here in Utah to transport forensic evidence and other evidence that will be analyzed and is being analyzed at our FBI laboratories in Quantico and other laboratories, including the ATF. At my direction, the FBI released the first set of FBI photos of the suspect at 10 a.m. local time on 9/11. Then, shortly thereafter, the FBI reward of $100,000 was released at 10:45 a.m. local. Myself and Deputy Director Bongino arrived on the scene at approximately 5:30 p.m. on 9/11. The governor led a press conference last night at approximately 8 p.m., where at my direction, the FBI released a never-before-seen video of the suspect. We also released new images to the public of the suspect. And just last night, the suspect was taken into custody at 10 p.m. local time. In less than 36 hours, 33 to be precise, thanks to the full weight of the federal government and leading out with the partners here in the state of Utah and Governor Cox, the suspect was apprehended in a historic time period. And I want to highlight what Governor Cox said. This would not have been possible without you, the media, and you, the public. That's why we went so public, so fast, and we're so transparent, and we're committed to that transparency. The crime scene, just a little bit there. It is a large crime scene. State and local authorities, along with federal authorities, processed that crime scene quickly. And I even had the ability to walk through that crime scene and walk through the steps the suspect took to learn more about what was needed and what resources we needed to bear to create a full picture for the FBI and leadership back in Washington. Furthermore, thankfully to state and local partners, forensic evidence has been seized and continues to be garnered. Forensic evidence has already been evaluated at FBI laboratories in Quantico and state and local authorities here. We will continue to process evidence as we see it, as we collect it, and we will continue to deliver to Governor Cox and his team. Last night, we had a total of approximately 7,000 leads. As of this morning, thanks to your great work, we have over 11,000 leads that were called in to the FBI. And we are running out every single lead that we can. Every one of those leads will be run out. The arrest is a testament to the dedication of good law enforcement being great and partnerships in law enforcement, which I've tried to highlight as my tenure as the director of the FBI. There is no better relationship for law enforcement than the FBI to partner with state and local authorities, and you've seen it here in these last few days. The FBI Salt Lake Field Office, along with our offices in LA, Phoenix, Denver, San Antonio, Las Vegas, Pittsburgh, Buffalo, our headquarters component in Quantico, all participate in the FBI. I want to express my deep gratitude to the employees of the FBI, the men and women, the evidence response team tacticians, the special operators, the agents, the support staff. You have done monumental work in historic time when the public, who had a right to demand such an expeditious solving of an investigation, the FBI answered that call diligently, critically important to our nation, and we delivered. And I'm proud to be their leader, and I'm proud to be the director of the FBI. This is a very much an ongoing investigation, as the governor said, and we will continue to work with state and local authorities to develop the investigation, to provide them the evidence they need for their ongoing prosecutions, and we will be here to answer every call they absolutely have, as long as it takes, for as long as we need to find and apprehend whatever suspects were involved in this crime. Lastly, to my friend Charlie Kirk, rest now, brother. We have the watch, and I'll see you in Valhalla.
Thank you, and good morning. I would just like to take a few minutes as the sheriff to express my gratitude for everybody who has played a part in this investigation. As you know, it's been a vast, complicated, and a very, very fast-paced investigation. You're looking and people standing up here who are running on, if they got an hour's sleep in the last couple of days, they're probably lucky. It has been very taxing. It has been so impressive speaking on behalf of the local law enforcement to see the cooperation that we've seen in this type of case. Across the state, sheriffs, chiefs, our state partners have stepped up and have come to the call on anything that we needed. Our county chiefs have been phenomenal. Our Utah County Attorney, Jeff Gray, who's standing up here with us, has been phenomenal in leading us through this investigation. I would like to thank the federal government for their resources.
It looks like that's just going to be the thank yous and stuff like that. I'm going to keep it on in the background in case they do like a little Q&A. If they do, I'll put it on while I do got to get going here pretty soon. Just a couple of things that they highlighted is that this guy changed when he went to college. That's the biggest thing that I took from here is that his family were good people. They did the right thing. They turned him in. They said that his behavior and his hate began to change as he was progressing through college. And here recently spoke about Charlie Kirk at a dinner or lunch and was spewing hate, talking about Charlie Kirk and spewing hate. They talked about some things that were on the ammunition round. Some of the no, wait, hold on. Kash Patel's coming back. Let's see what he says.
Special thanks to the Attorney General and the Department of Justice. Their unwavering support and their
He's just saying thank yous too.
True here. And without AG Bondi,
and to me, I just think that in the end, there was it sounds like something happened to that young man while he was in college.
Law enforcement team who has worked so hard. Sheriff, I got a solid 90 minutes last night, so I'm probably the most well-rested person up here. Ladies and gentlemen, I get the microphone, so I hope you'll permit me a moment just to share a few more thoughts about where we are and how we got here and maybe a little bit of where we go from here. I don't want to get too preachy, but I think it's important that we, with eyes wide open, understand what's happening in our country today. I've heard people say, well, why are we so invested in this? There's violence happening all across our country, and violence is tragic everywhere, and every life taken is a child of God who deserves our love and respect and dignity. This is certainly about the tragic death, political assassination of Charlie Kirk.
Political assassination again,
but it
in
is
terms that
also
they're
much
using.
bigger than an attack on an individual. It is an attack on all of us. It is an attack on the American experiment. It is an attack on our ideals. This cuts to the very foundation of who we are, of who we have been, and who we could be in better times. Political violence is different than any other type of violence for lots of different reasons. One, because in the very act that Charlie championed of expression, that freedom of expression that is enshrined in our founding documents, in having his life taken in that very act, makes it more difficult for people to feel like they can share their ideas, that they can speak freely. We will never be able to solve all the other problems, including the violence problems that people are worried about, if we can't have a clash of ideas safely.
I agree.
Securely.
I agree with
Even
this.
Especially those ideas with which you disagree. That's why this matters so much. Over the last 48 hours, I have been as angry as I have ever been, as sad as I have ever been. And It was as anger pushed me to the brink. It was actually Charlie's words that pulled me back. I'd like to share some of those, and specifically right now, if I could, I need to talk to the young people in our state, in my state, and all across the country. As President Trump reminded me, he said, you know who really loved Charlie? The youths. He's right. Young people loved Charlie, and young people hated Charlie. And Charlie went into those places anyway. And these are the words that have helped me. Charlie said, when people stop talking, that's when you get violence. He said, the weak can never forgive. Forgiveness is the attribute of the strong. The only way out of the labyrinth of suffering is to forgive. Welcome without judgment, love without condition, forgive without limit. He said, always forgive your enemies. Nothing annoys them so much. A few months ago, I referenced this last night, Charlie posted to social media, when things are moving very fast and people are losing their minds, it's important to stay grounded. Turn off your phone, read scripture, spend time with friends, and remember, internet fury is not real life. It's going to be okay. He again said, when you stop having a human connection with someone you disagree with, it becomes a lot easier to commit violence. He said, what we as a culture have to get back to is being able to have a reasonable agreement, where violence is not an option. Now, again, to my young friends out there, you are inheriting a country where politics feels like rage. It feels like rage is the only option. But through those words, we have a reminder that we can choose a different path. Your generation has an opportunity to build a culture that is very different than what we are suffering through right now. Not by pretending differences don't matter, but by embracing our differences and having those hard conversations. I think we need more moral clarity right now. I hear all the time that words are violence. Words are not violence. Violence is violence. And there is one person responsible for what happened here. And that person is now in custody and will be charged soon and will be held accountable. And yet, all of us have an opportunity right now to do something different.
I think he's absolutely right. You know, it seems like he's just going to start talking about some of the other things, but he's absolutely right about what he's saying about Charlie Kirk. He's absolutely right about, you know, the statements and the words, and not to go into violence. That we do need to continue to speak, continue to move forward. Do not allow this to scare you if you, you know, have your beliefs, and they may be different than those that are around you. I don't know, but we should never, ever turn that disbelief or disagreement into violence. And it's a sad day. It's been a sad few days, and it's been even more sad to see some of the things that I've seen as far as people celebrating this young man's life that ended way too soon. And you know, this, like I said, it sounded like this guy had a good upbringing, a family that cared, got him into college. Seems like he had some sort of scholarship to go in. And after he gets in there and spends a few years, things change in him. Now, I'm not saying it's the college's fault. They did something to him. I have no idea. I've never been there before. But his parents, based on what they were saying, noticed the change in him since he left. You know, and it doesn't necessarily have to be the college. It could be some people that he was associating with now, you know, outside of college, things of that nature, who may have done something that guided him into this direction. But it is a pretty telling thing where family members are noticing this, and they did the right thing by turning him in. You know, apparently the father held him down until police arrived. And so, rest in peace, Charlie. Justice, they got the guy. Justice is going to be served. We'll be covering this again tonight. We're going to be going over some of the words that he may that were on the ammunition rounds. I'm going to be trying to figure out what it is that those phrases, the arrows up and down, see what those things mean, and we'll come back and we'll talk about that a little bit later on this evening. A little bit after that, we're going to be talking about late tonight. I'm going to have 2 shows tonight, so we're going to do 3 in totality today. Check that out. But tonight we have a twofer. We're going to talk more about this case, and then we're going to go into the Brian Coburn case and talk about the images and the pictures that were released, the selfies and what they mean, what's in the background, what's in the foreground, what's on his finger. It's been disclosed now that was in fact a Band-Aid on his finger, and then we see a injury on his hand a couple of days later when he's taking some of his selfies. So yeah, it is a rough topic. It's a rough topic, and it is very devastating, but I do got to go. I hope you guys please hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, ring that notification bell. I'll be back on tonight, and we'll be covering more of this and more information that comes out. I'm sure there's going to be a plethora of things that come out by the time we go live tonight. So make sure you like, comment, subscribe so you don't miss it. I'll be back tonight, guys. We'll see y'all then. Later.